verschillende crudes kijken, hè, in de wereld. Ons is gerelateerd naar West Texas crude. Dus,
ja.
Dus nu gebaseerd op, dacht ik, de justification op $70 per barrel.
Oké. Okay.
Ik ben geen environmental deskundige, maar ik weet dus dat er zijn verschillende assessment studies gedaan voordat het project kwam. Om dus rekening te houden met het straal van 10 kilometer. Om te kijken van wat de effecten kunnen zijn als dus de raffinaderij gebouwd wordt. Ik heb ook begrepen dat een heleboel van die processen zijn niet open. Met andere woorden, ze zijn gedekt. De uitstootgassen en dat soort dingen worden dus verwerkt. Met andere woorden, ze gaan niet zomaar de lucht in. En er zijn hele studies gedaan, we zijn daar erg secuur mee om dat te kunnen doen. We lopen vooruit op de zaken. Ook met die pipeline die we nu werken zijn we dus bezig met een environmental impact study en een environmental social study. Om te kijken hoe dat de mensen ook in de buurt gaat affecteren.
Okay. You were not present at the time we were discussing about how much time you have. Well, please, if you can give us your presentation in 25 minutes, then after that we will have about 10 minutes time for some questions.
It should be fine.
Thank you.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Esteban Crespo. I am the manager for government affairs for Newmont and Surgold here in Suriname. I have been in Suriname since 2004. I'm delighted to be here tonight to have the opportunity to speak to the business community about our projects in Suriname and in particular about the Marian Gold project, which is our immediate plan to put into production in the near future. I need to start with two announcements tonight. I start with a very sad note. Last week we had a first fatality in our project. For us, safety is the number one priority. As a result of this, our operations have stopped. Everyone is conducting a safety appraisal to understand what has occurred. One of our helpers of a drilling company had a severe allergic reaction while he was working on site. It seems that this was caused by a bee that stung him in the hand. By the time he was demobilized from the site and arrived in the hospital here in Paramaribo by plane 2 hours later, he had passed away. We are very sorry for the loss, and of course we're very sorry for the families of the deceased. As I say, the operations have stopped completely, and at this time we are conducting an investigation to make sure this will never happen again. Another note before I start with my presentation is that I would have expected that our new manager for Suriname, our new vice president for Suriname, that has been recently appointed, Mr. Adrian van Kersen, who of course speaks Dutch. I don't speak Dutch and I will apologize for that. Would have been here tonight, but he was unable to be able to be in this appointment. I hope that Adrian will be able to speak to you in the near future. He will be the person carrying forward with Newmont and Surgold's operations in the future. With this, I should start with my presentation. And I want to tell you a little bit about Newmont and who we are. Newmont Mining Corporation is a global company. We have operations in 4 regions, including South America, North America, Africa, and Asia. This is a company that is 90 years old, based in Denver, Colorado. We are listed in the New York Stock Exchange since 1925. Newmont is perhaps the premier gold company when it's time for investing in gold stocks. Currently, Newmont has a market capitalization of around $34 billion, although you all have seen that the gold price has dropped significantly these days. And we have about 34,000 employees and contractors around the world. This gives you very quickly an idea of where we are operating around the world. We have mature operations in North America where our business started, but Newmont has expanded around the world with very successful operations in Peru, very successful operations in Australia and Indonesia, but also we are now growing in West Africa, and Ghana in particular, where we have a running mine and we plan to build another gold mine. And of course, our view for the future is Suriname. We want to have a dot there that will show that we have a production center here in Suriname, because we have plans to be in Suriname for a long time. I will show you that the immediate operations we have planned. You might say we're talking only 10 years forward, but in fact we will be looking for a 30 or more years history in Suriname. We believe Suriname has a very bright future in gold mining, and that's what we are here for. Newmont is the second largest producer of gold in the world. It currently produces 5.2 million ounces of gold, and we have already spoken to the market that our goal for 2017 is to increase our gold production from 5 million ounces to 7. So we refer to the 717 objective is increasing 2 million ounces a year, every year. By the time we get to 2070, we should be there. We want Suriname to be part of that objective. I have talked to you about Sur Gold, and I want people here to have the chance to understand what Sur Gold is, and what's Newmont's role in Sur Gold, and what's the role of our partners, Alcoa and Sur Gold. And you will see here that Sur Gold is a partnership, is a company that was created in 2004 when Alcoa invited us to look at the project and have an agreement regarding the future exploration and development of the project. Sur Gold is currently owned 50% by Alcoa and 50% by Newmont, and Newmont is the manager of Sur Gold, has been the manager of Sur Gold since 2004. We expect to complete the feasibility study by the middle of next year for the Marian Gold project, which I will explain in a minute. And at that time, when feasibility is completed, the ownership structure will change so that Newmont will increase its participation to 80% in the partnership, and Alcoa will be decreased to 20%, provided, however, that at that time, Alcoa will have the right to buy back 10% with an ultimate participation in the business that could be 70-30. Let me give you a very quick idea where we are located. I think it's very important for everyone in Suriname to understand where these projects are. And we have three main targets, three main projects in Suriname that we are hoping and believe that have very bright future. The number one project is the Marian Gold project. This is the Marian Gold project. This set of rights of exploration that are drawn here in blue are held by Sur Gold, the partnership that I just described to you between Alcoa and Newmont. But we also have a venture, we have a joint venture with a company that has been in Suriname for many years, Golden Star Resources. Golden Star Resources has been exploring in the Saramacca area since the early 90s. We have joined forces with them with providing some funding. So we also have an interest to advance the Saramacca project, which is outside Sur Gold. The lines, the dashed lines here represent the applications that in this case Golden Star in the joint venture with Newmont, and in this case Sur Gold has made to obtain rights of exploitation. In the case of Marian, the application here that you see was submitted in 2007, and that is what triggered the mineral agreement negotiations that some of you have heard. During the previous administration, mineral agreement negotiations started, but were never concluded, nor those negotiations were able to be approved by the National Assembly. Something that is fairly recent for us is the advancement of the Sabayo project. We have made significant developments here. We believe this is going to be a gold mine, and now I should be giving you some very fresh information. We believe that in fact these two projects need to be considered jointly. We have just recently presented this to the government and expressed to them that we believe now that between Marian and Sabayo, we're looking at something much larger. But tonight, I'm going to concentrate the rest of my slides to talk about Marian exclusively, not about the other projects. So now we are zooming in on the boundary of the right of exploitation, which is painted here in black, that was submitted in 2007. And very quickly, I would like to show you that we have 3 gold deposits, Maraba, Marian 2, and Marian, where we will plan to extract gold by open pit mining. And we have a location where the plant is going to be built. Some preliminary engineering is already taking place at this time. The location where the waste rock will be deposited, the location where the tailings disposal is going to be deposited. All of this at this time is getting into the preliminary engineering design towards starting construction in the near future. I will be talking about the schedule a few minutes from now. So let me give you a short idea on what are the milestones that we have reached in this past 6 or 7 years that we have in Suriname. We need to remember that the initial risk for the Marian project was taken by Suralco in Alcoa. They were granted the initial right of exploration, and they were looking for the gold there. They spent about $7 million, and they went to a point that say, we don't want to do this any further. We need gold mining expertise to take this forward. And this occurred in 2005, when after an international tender, they selected Newmont to be their partner, and SurGold was created. You will see the level of expenditures by period there. At this time, we believe that by the end of 2011, total expenditures could be in the order of $108 million. In 2005, there was significant exploration conducted, and at that time, in 2007, the right of exploitation was submitted. After the submission of the right of exploitation, negotiations began with the previous government, with President Venetian's government, and by April 2010, actually the agreement that we have reached over many hours of negotiations was delivered to the Council of Ministers. These are comprehensive agreement that will include basically the taxation aspects and royalty aspects and business aspects of the deal, including, of course, labor and environmental issues. It's a comprehensive law, was submitted to the Council of Ministers and approved by the Council of Ministers, but then when the May elections were approaching, this couldn't go any further. We plan to restart the process of negotiations with the current government in the very near future. This year, I should go back to 2009 and 2010 because it was a very difficult year for us. At that time, unfortunately, the project was occupied by 600 illegal miners that had forced us to stop operations completely. I'm sure many of you have heard this in the media. And we, of course, were shocked by the level of damage that was caused by the amount of disturbance, by the use of mercury, by the whole dangerous situation. Many of you will remember that by October 2010, 7 people had died already in this location as a result of anti-technical mining techniques. But the current government, with a tremendous amount of care and touch and perseverance, was able to remove all the people from the project site without the use of force, without anyone being hurt, and we were able to go back to work around May of this year, something that we are delighted of. We have been flying with our activities. We've been very busy until the fatality of last week. As I say, everything has ceased activity right now. Operations have shut down. We expect to go back to business in the next few days after this crisis has been overcome. This year is going to be a very busy year. Sorry. Wrong button. Yes, I was saying we have a very project scheduled right now with drilling operations. We have engaged with NIMOS regarding the production or the completion of an environmental impact study. We are conducting geotechnical investigations. We are conducting some contract engineering companies. We We have kicked off the feasibility study. We are already considering placing orders for long lead equipment. We are talking about $50 million for that. But all of this is subject to the successful conclusion of a mineral agreement with the current administration. We will not be able to commit any significant additional funds until an agreement is reached, and both parties, Surgold and the government, understand this situation very clearly. Very quickly, this is a slide in the ground on how the gold deposit at Marion looks like. So you will see certain shapes here where the rock has a certain concentration of gold, here in red, also there, that we believe is subject to economic extraction. This is the surface of the ground. And here you will have the depth of the excavations that we will envision over a 10-year life, and this will depend on the price of gold. If we're using $110 per ounce, this will be the depth of the excavation. If we go to $1,400 per ounce, we can go even deeper because the rock is more valuable. At this time, using $1,300 per ounce, we believe that we have 3.65 million ounces of gold that can be extracted out of the total 6.2 that are in the ground. Of course, as gold price keeps going up, this number could increase a little bit. As gold price goes down, which we hope it doesn't, the number will decrease. Schedule. Perhaps the most important item that we need to notice in this schedule is that there is a diamond here that says mineral agreement completed by the end of 2011. Our company is expecting that this could be achievable, and we already, in the month of October, and I'm very nervous because we haven't restarted yet. So you can imagine that many of these activities here are subject to the conclusion of the deal terms, and our objective to start production by the end of 2014, of course, is going to push unless we can complete an agreement on time. We have told the government that we are ready to move forward. We have told the government that we have the support of the company to commit with funding. Immediately, we are expecting to commit with $150 million towards the end of 2012 to complete the feasibility study, as is here, by the third quarter of 2012, even to start placing some long lead item orders already so that we can achieve our goal, which is to start production by the end of 2014. Again, everything is subject to us being able to conclude the agreement on a timely basis. So you might want to ask, well, how much is this all going to cost? And at this time, our best calculation is between $750 and $900 million. That is the sort of expenditures that we will need to incur to build this next gold mine. And some of you will say, well, you know, I remember that Rosebel built a facility with $150 million back in 2002, 2003. But here, gentlemen from Staatsolie will understand that inflation in this type of equipment and material has been incredible over these past years. And now, what used to cost you $200 million in the early 2000s, this time is costing you a lot more. So it's going to be a significant investment. We are willing to proceed. We are willing to go forward. We are very excited about the future because we don't believe that this is the only opportunity that we will have. As I show you from other operations, we believe we have an opportunity to grow here. And of course, there is going to be, I don't have the amount of detail that the gentleman here from Staatsolie presented, but there is going to be a significant amount of local spending. If you go to the text of our draft agreement, which I have summarized here in this slide, Surgold will be obligated to conduct purchases of goods and services locally, provided they are of the same quality and price of those services that we need to obtain abroad. So we believe that the local spending is going to be a significant effect to the economy. I'm now starting to be concerned that projects being conducted with the expansion of Staatsolie and us at the same time, are we going to have enough labor? Are we going to have enough cement and iron locally to do this? And it might be actually a little bit challenging. what is the project schedule, how the project schedule could look like for some of you to have an idea. This mine that we're trying to build is very similar to what Roosevelt, IAMGOLD has in Roosevelt. Annual production of around 330,000 ounces, starting going up to 428 and going down to 233,000 ounces of gold, about a 11-year mine. This is what we can plan at this time. However, it is very typical, as it was the case of Roosevelt. Many of you remember that they never envisioned to be in production for so long and with such a bright future, that these operations will grow as production is taking place. And in particular, we plan, or we believe it can grow significantly with the advancement of the Sabayo project that I showed you in an earlier slide. Finally, a very quick word on employment, and with this I will be done. We are now hiring 200 direct employees. We expect that during construction, we have been giving a round number of 2,000 employees that will be contracted between 2012 and 2014. And when the mine goes into production, we are considering an average workforce of around 1,000 people. At this time, maybe 920. We are committed to employ locally. In fact, our agreement, as it was negotiated with the previous administration, has a schedule to transfer those positions that are occupied by expatriates to local workforce. It's a very ambitious schedule, and we expect to meet that schedule so that few years after the operation has been started, it will be basically run by Surinamers. And that concludes my presentation about the project. I'm open to any questions that you might have.
Yes, sir. You mentioned the fact that the negotiations will start all over again with the government. Can you give me a bit of a feel as to if this government is willing to accept what was apparently approved by the previous government and take it from there? Or do you start all over again?
What we have been assured by the current negotiating commission and my contacts with the government is that there is not going to be such a thing as starting all over again. That the draft in place will need to be reviewed, and I'm sure changes will need to be incurred, but we will take it from there. Therefore, this is not a process that we expect can take 2 years. This is a process that we hope that will take maybe a couple of months, maybe several weeks.
Okay.
Yes. Equity participation and how the equity is going to be split with the state is an issue between Surgold and the government. So yes, the government has the right to participate. That is what the law says in Suriname. In fact, the moment we submitted the right of exploitation in 2007, two months after that date, as it's required by law, we received a notice from the government saying we will participate. And that, of course, led to negotiations. And in those negotiations with the previous administration, we spoke about equity and the participation of the state. That is something that will need to be, of course, reviewed with the current administration.
Thank you. No more questions? Oh, the last.
Can you provide us with some basic economic data on the project? For instance, what are the costs? What are the projected revenues, the profits, the taxes you will pay, the import and the exports? Do you have those data?
I will be very happy to do this after the mineral agreement has been signed. Because at this time, truly the answer is I don't know. How could I tell you what the royalty that we will pay is going to be when the royalty has not been decided? Or the level of taxation on how we're going to be amortizing our expenditures, or what are going to be the rules for importation. So truly, I hope that Mr. Van Kersen, our appointed manager, could be here with you. And Mr. Wilson, please count on our ability to have this done again, to tell you, well, now we have the rules of the game. This is how the project looks like regarding government take, taxes, royalties, importation, etc. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we can... Mag ik uitnodigen de heer Kopinski? De heer Kopinski die als vertegenwoordiger, zoals het in het programma staat, van het Grand Krigi project, heel kort zijn cv, zijn key qualifications zoals hij dat heeft opgezomd: expert in the field of electric power systems and specialized in planning and project management. Hij is afgestudeerd aan de TU Delft, electrical engineer majoring in electric power and load flow system. Current job is consultant for Sustainable Technical Solutions NV Suteso. Mag ik de heer Kopinski vragen zijn presentatie te houden?
Dames en heren, ook van mij zijde een goede avond. Ik heb de taak om u wakker te houden nu. Hoort u mij goed?
Ja, misschien een beetje hoger.
Iets hoger?
Ja.
Zo beter?
Denk het.
Er zijn aan u een aantal projecten gepresenteerd. En wat al deze projecten gemeen hebben, is dat ze heel veel energie nodig hebben. Met name de mijnbouwprojecten. De mijnbouwprojecten zullen een hele grote wissel trekken op onze energiebehoeften. En ik denk dat dat de reden is waarom de VSB en de VES ons hebben gevraagd, of mij hebben gevraagd om vanavond een inleiding te houden over een energieproject. Als we kijken naar de toekomstige energiebehoeften, moet ik even kijken hoe dit werkt. Gaat het goed? Nee. No energy, no energy. No energy. Even, wat heb ik van voor? Hij werkt niet? Oké, dan gaan we het hier proberen. Ja. Werkt goed. Wat heb ik zo even gedrukt? Nee, dan gaat hij uit.
Die heer.
Oké. Als we kijken naar de energiebehoeften en we laten even buiten beschouwing de mijnbouwprojecten, dan kijken we naar de groene lijn en dat noemen we het EPAR, verzorgingsgebied van de EBS. Als we heel conservatief zijn en beschouwen een groei van 6% per jaar, dan zien we, als we dus de mijnbouw buiten beschouwing laten, dat we gaan van ongeveer 160, 170 megawatt aan capaciteitsbehoefte naar even boven de 500 tot in 2030.